Everybody's trying to fix their finances with a math formula.
That is the path to prosperity. If you want you a good car, son, you got to build your credit.
If you have seen videos of Dave Ramsey, you might probably know him for advice on building your wealth and staying away from getting into debt. His words of wisdom are mostly based on his life experiences. At a younger age, he had himself experienced 3 or 4 crises. A personal crisis cost him practically everything, but from that point forward, he decided he would be the one in charge of the things that fell under his purview. He had amassed large sums of money after rising from his lowest point and had established an emergency fund. He could purchase property and was in wonderful health, but there were instances when he was in need and unable to benefit from the deals. He advises us to use any money wisely because the stock market is currently on sale and real estate prices have not changed significantly. These statements are cliches, but cliches are born from reality. He experienced one of the darkest periods in his 20s, a time he never wants to return to. He learned such deep lessons from that suffering. He makes the point that in order to change and thrive in life, you must change. When you realize you have the key to a successful life, you must get off the couch and discover your purpose in life. No one is coming to save you. The saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," has meaning for Ramsey. Now, he is confident that he will survive any crisis, whether the terrible events of 2008 or the coronavirus. Such difficulties won't end his life. They would only make him stronger. The fear that comes along with it or the economic stress caused by it, the concern or the worry is not going to kill us. Ramsey further motivates us by urging us to control the controllable things. This might be the only thing that can save us in times of crisis, so it's necessary. Insanity and loss would result from greed and desperation, respectively. You are setting yourself up for failure when you become frightened and rush at something out of that dread with a sense of desperation. Ramsey's discussions of greed places more emphasis on its detrimental effects than its motivation, which is tied to ambition's greediness. Your brain doesn't function correctly if you are a very emotional person and allow your emotions to influence your work. Ramsey quotes his old friend Art Laffer as saying, "You don't make good decisions when you're panicked or drunk. Your ability to think rationally is compromised when you are experiencing strong emotions." Ramsey emphasizes that his biggest errors were committed out of desperation and greed. He wants us to avoid making the same error he did when he was younger. Ramsey continues by noting that he must have a strong sense of moral character, dependability, and reliability, and that he won't slit your throat behind your back. You could also resolve to become that as of right now. You could make a change in a matter of seconds. The mind must make preparations for that shift. The transition is a journey for most people. You could try to restrain your tongue or use positive rather than negative language while talking about others, but most individuals just continue to use their filthy language. No one would put their trust in someone they can't rely on, and they wonder why they aren't given any opportunities when their life is a mess and they refuse to make changes. He further tells us to keep these 5 points in mind. He calls them the 5 rules for staying safe from debt and helping you build wealth. The first one is to keep a separate tab for the budget in your personal finances. You can never compare income and wealth. They are 2 completely different words with different meanings. Income is what you generate. It's a stream of money which people receive from several sources, such as rent, salary, and profit, etc., that helps in the creation of wealth. Whereas if we're talking about wealth, it's what that is created. Wealth is the overall market value of all the assets owned, stored, or saved by a person for their future use. So coming to budgeting your personal finances, you must focus on saving your income and investing to generate more wealth. According to Ramsey, most billionaires keep spending in check and have self-control over it. They either keep written budgets or spend less than what they make. He advises us to write down the monthly finances on a paper before actually spending, right at the beginning of the month, and then follow it accordingly. This is the first key to keep your money under control. Like every other business has their budgets, he insists that common people like us keep one as well. Following this would keep you in check of all the money that comes and goes, all while enforcing discipline through awareness. The next rule he wants you to follow is to get out of debt if you have one. In his advice, what he has to convey to people is to repay and come out of any debt they have. Consumer debt is one of the most major factors that eats your income and destroys your ability to save and invest. He is strictly against debt outside of a 15-year mortgage on a property that you can afford. He teaches us not to spend more than we make, which would eventually lead us to heaps of debt. According to him, it is not worth it if you are paying more than 25% of your salary on the mortgage payments. Another way your bank balance is getting used fast is from those car payments. Too many people think buying a new car is the best way to save money on maintenance, but Ramsey says that it is smarter to buy used cars and let someone take the depreciation, or buy a car that you can only afford. He tells this from his own experiences of owning a car without car payments, and this is what helped him to save money and build capital for 30 years. Further, he advises paying off any credit card debts. The easiest way is to go from smallest to largest to get momentum. His third rule for building wealth is to choose your relationships wisely. Ramsey urges his point by quoting one of Jim Rohn's words, "TOU is the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. There is a huge correlation between your spending habits and the people you spend time with. According to a study, most millionaires would stay married to the same partner their whole lives, as they share amazing similarities in financial aspirations and decisions. People often adapt the habit of their family and friends, going where they go, spending how they spend, reading the same books, etc. The studies have shown that after 10 years, your income will be roughly 10% to 20% of the average income of your 10 closest friends," Ramsey says. Coming to the fourth one, he asks people to build a habit of saving and investing. Ramsey says that having enough in an emergency fund to cover unforeseen costs and prevent taking on additional debt is the first step in saving money. The first baby step is just setting aside $1,000 as a buffer, which may be increased to 3 to 6 to cover living expenses while looking for work. Savings can also be used to pay off debt and make large expenditures in the future, such as funding your children's education, getting a car, or making modifications to your home. Investing is different. You invest when you purchase stocks and bonds to share in corporate earnings. Investing can lead to financial independence and provide you with the money you need to retire when you can no longer work. The last and final rule is to be cheerfully generous. In his speech, Ramsey focuses on this one point, and he explains the most rewarding expenses for many people may be offering good tips, giving to charities, and giving to those in need. Giving generously helps you develop a prosperous mentality that can help open up your creative imagination to earn more. Giving generously communicates to your subconscious that you have plenty of money. Being generous is a wealthy habit. If you're broke, in debt, and you haven't saved any money, and you don't have a plan, and you're not hanging out with other people who are givers, the only way to make it in life is to change. Hope you liked this video. For more motivating videos like this, make sure to share and subscribe to the channel. We will be back again with more.